Welcome back. You're watching Startup Central with me, Nayantara Rai. Our next guest from the EdTech space, in fact, trying to make us students for life, making sure we upskill, targets professionals as well, and claims it's got, during the pandemic, a lot of its users have got job offers. It's also a product that Virat Kohli has faith in. Our next guest is Great Learnings, endorsed by the Indian skipper and the CEO, Mohan Lakamraju, joining us right here on Startup Central. Mohan, a pleasure having you on the show. First up, I want to ask you, we've seen obviously hyper growth for the EdTech space in 2020, but there was no choice. You had to make sure your kids continue to go to school, continue to learn. Professionals had no choice but to up their game, to stay relevant, keep their job, minimize the salary cut. But now with all this talk of vaccines and a post-corona world, will the kind of growth we've seen in EdTech be sustainable?
So first of all, thank you, Nayantara, for giving me this opportunity, and thanks to ET Now for having me on the show. You're right, 2020 has been a remarkable year, and I think I speak for all of Great Learning and our community when we say that we are fortunate and blessed to be in the state that we are in. Everybody's safe and healthy, which is the most important thing. All of our learners are as well. Education was moving in this direction even before the pandemic, right? So we have always been enabling high quality education through the use of technology. So this path we were already on. What 2020 and COVID has done is to actually massively accelerate that. It's like the entire world got a 6-month tutorial on online learning. And so while it was a curiosity for people before, some people did not believe in it, some people still don't believe in it, but everybody has had to engage with it. All the stakeholders, whether it is working professionals, whether it is students, whether it is faculty, whether it is academic administrators, whether it is corporates, right? All the stakeholders of the ecosystem have had to engage with it, have had to get familiar with it, right? So that is a big, big shift that has happened. Naturally, lots of people have actually tried it for the first time. They had time on their hands to do it, right? So it's been a great year from that perspective onwards, right? And I don't believe that, EdTech is going to go away or this need is going to go away, right? Because people have also tasted the advantages of it, right? So when you do things using technology, when you do things online, it actually brings a certain level of measurability, visibility, transparency, personalization, all of those things which traditional education never enabled, right? So I believe those values are going to stay. Those values are going to be valued by all stakeholders, and they're going to stay. So EdTech is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. In fact, going forward, I believe that it will play a significant role, definitely in professional learning and higher education, and to a lesser degree in K-12.
So professional learning, higher education, all of that, Great Learning is also trying to make us students for life. You also go after professionals, you encourage them to upskill and all of that. So during COVID-19, during 2020, what kind of a surge in traffic did Great Learning see and witness?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, we're fortunate to be where we are. 2020 has been a good year. We have been continuing to grow. Our business has been continuing to grow as well. The key point that you made is that, people are having to learn and people are having to become lifelong learners, right? So it's basically the changing nature of business, the changing nature of how work is getting done. That's what's causing people to do that, right? The paradigm of our parents' generation, where you learn once and then you do your entire career on the strength of that learning, that paradigm is gone now, right? The pace of change is so much that you are having to learn constantly. People were having to do that before as well, before the pandemic. And that just has gotten accelerated with the pandemic, because people actually could do that while they were stuck at home. They could actually engage in that, and they've seen the fruits of that, right? So in fact, we have seen our users and the people that came to our platform grow 10 times from what it was before, right? And that momentum is continuing. There are, every month there are lakhs of students that are visiting the platform. So we've put out 180 courses that are available for learners to learn for free. And so those are getting used by a lot of folks, both from within companies, within universities, from students. All of the segments that we cater to are benefiting from that, and we're continuing to add to that as well. Right. At the same time, we've introduced several new programs. Every month, we are introducing new programs that cater to different needs of folks. So to keep themselves updated, to actually accelerate their careers going forward. On the business front, companies themselves have realized the need to digitize, right? You've seen this happen. Companies that are digitally enabled have actually thrived during the pandemic, and companies that are not digital have struggled. That has created further impetus for businesses to invest in digitization and digital transformation, and that is only further going to accelerate the need for people to build the digital skills, and that is exactly what we are helping people learn.
So if I could talk to you about the Great Learning business model. Now, usually the way things have been going in the pandemic, and that was a trend before, but it's just getting more and more reinforced. There's a free version and there is a paid version. What's the deal at Great Learning? How do you see this evolve as well?
Oh, even today, we have both free and paid programs. So, I didn't mean to suggest that we are not having paid programs. We have, a long list of paid programs, and tens of thousands of learners are doing those paid programs even as we speak, and achieving fantastic outcomes out of those. As you know, we are extremely focused on quality, and that's how we are differentiated. Our programs are very hands-on. They are enabling our learners to build very tangible competencies and skills, and then apply them in their workforce and achieve career outcomes. And that loop is just happening even faster right now. So, companies are also realizing the need for bringing on new competencies. So while many companies were laying off people, and, some folks were losing jobs, hundreds of our learners actually got recruited over the last 6 months. Right. So, and this is happening every week. There are dozens, if not hundreds of folks that are actually getting jobs who are Great Learning students.
Okay, so then you're talking about your users getting job offers in the midst of a pandemic when the chips have really, really been down. How did that happen? What's so unique about Great Learning? So,
as I briefly alluded to, the key thing about Great Learning is the quality of our programs, right? So we are hyper focused on making sure that our programs are very high quality, very rigorous, and very outcome oriented, right? While there are many people who come into EdTech because it's the fashionable thing to do, I want to say here that, creating educational processes, educational pedagogies, and, content, curriculum, the entire package that actually takes a learner from point A to point B and delivers the transformational outcome is actually a very hard thing to do. And a lot of folks are going to realize how difficult that is, and, the attention to detail and the work that goes into that. And that's what we've been putting in over the last 7 years. And we have built a lot of expertise and assets that help us do that, whether it is a technology platform, the highly relevant content that we have. I believe that our programs are the most cutting edge of the ones that are out there, in that they exactly meet the needs of the industry, right? So they form a very efficient bridge between what industry is looking for and what the students need to learn. That's how our programs are devised, and that's how they're resulting in the kind of career outcomes that folks are having. And I do believe that that is something that is going to continue to sustain even after 2020 is over, because the automation and the digital drivers that are driving the digital economy are continuing to be there. Technology progress is going to continue to be there. And so we have the ability to adapt very quickly with those changes, and adapt far faster than what traditional academic institutions and traditional players can do. And therefore, our programs will always be at the cutting edge. They'll always be high quality, and that's what's going to sustain our momentum and differentiation.
My final question to you: Great Learning is endorsed by Virat Kohli. How did that happen? Now, Virat Kohli, of course, has talked about being a student for life, how he has upped the game, whether it is leadership or even his own fitness, if you look at it.
Yeah, well, you know about us now, right? So see, Virat has been a great brand ambassador for us and continues to be. When we were thinking about, who best represents our values, right? We stand for excellence. We want to stand for hard work and commitment and continuous improvement and lifelong learning, and those are exactly what Virat embodies. He is a far superior player today than he was when he started, and that happened because of exactly these things. He's always improving, he's always analyzing his performance, he's extremely disciplined, very dedicated, and is a continuous learner, and that is exactly what we admire about him, and that's what has made him who he is, and that's the message that we want to send. In fact, our key line is that जिंदगी का यही उसूल है, जो सीखता है वही आगे बढ़ता है. The more you learn, the more you grow, right? And that we want to send the message, particular to our youth, that don't look for shortcuts, right? You truly learn, and that's the most reliable and robust way for you to get ahead in your career. And great learning can help you do that. So Virat has been a great ambassador for that message.
And with that, Mohan, I'm going to wish you all the very best. Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of the Startup Central. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we're completely out of time. Many thanks for tuning in. We'll be back same time tomorrow, 6 p.m. right here on ET Now.